welcome to Up the Villa podcast. If you are new watching us, where have you been? But subscribe. We're on the road to 7,000 subscribers now. Drop this video a like. Let's get a 350 like target and put your predicted lineups for Aston Villa versus Arsenal in the comment section down below. So normally when we do these episodes, we've sort of decided the lineup before we sort of come on and we give you our team, what we would pick, the ins and outs, the reasons why, the system sort of what we'd go with. But on this one today, we've decided to go rogue and we're just going to go with the flow and make it up as we go along. So join us how we pick our team to face Arsenal. So Justin, where you been?
Oh, busy week, mate. Nightmare. Cost me a fortune this week, because birthdays all over the place.
God, I mean, Joey put a shift in on the match preview, so
very impressed. I'm worried now. I have to look over my shoulder. I think the old man's going to get replaced if he's not careful.
And right, so let's get straight on in there. Then predicted lineup. So what I'm sort of thinking with this one is I think there's going to be a slight system tweak. I'm sort of going for 2 number 10s and 1 number 9. I just think because Arsenal, they're on fire, aren't they? I watched them versus Liverpool and they did play pretty good. I think it's going to be difficult for us to control the game. And I just feel like maybe with the extra number 10, the extra ball player, that might be a little bit better. What do you guys think? So basically what we're going with, are we going with 2 10s or 2 number 9s?
Oh, God. I don't think he'll change that. I don't. I think, we've still got something to play for. We still can, I think 8th. It's going to be tough, but I think that's something we've got to aim at. So we want to at least stick in at 9. If we can get any higher, then fantastic. But I think he's, especially with the Arsenal game, I watched him last night against Liverpool, and they did well for an hour, didn't they? They were very competitive, and then Liverpool just sort of steamrolled them as they can do. But I think ultimately what won it for Liverpool was having the overloads up front, wasn't it? And the quality in the final third. And I think at the moment with the 2 centre forwards and Coutinho in behind, I think that gives us that quality going forward. And I think playing the 2 10s, they was almost playing each other's pockets and in each other's positions, weren't they? And I just don't think it worked. And we've said it before on this pod that it's a shame for Buendia that he's having to step out, but it is what it is. We've got a world class player in the 10. So I don't see a system change. I don't see a formation change. And will he change for, some players? I don't know. As I say, I think we've still got a lot to play for. Going into the summer, we're going to want to finish as high as we possibly can. So, he needs to get as many points on the board as he possibly can and finish in the top half at least, so we can kick on again in the summer. So it's a tricky one for Gerrard, because I think by now he probably would have hoped to be able to maybe stick Sanson in or stick, Bailey in or one of the few, maybe even the young kids, Irabunum, maybe even Ben Christine at left back, because, we're missing Dean. So it's difficult, isn't it? He's got to try and keep picking wins up, and he's got to try and keep the momentum going. And juggle all these little things at the same time. So for me, no, I don't see 2 10s and a 9. I don't know what Ryan thinks, but I think he'll stick with the 2 9s and a 10.
Right, Ryan. Casting vote then. What are you going with?
I am going to side on Justin's formation. Yes, I think he'll stick with the 2 number 9s as well and the number 10. Even though it's the wide positions where I think Arsenal can hurt us, Saka and Martinelli, with Odegaard in behind. It's a bit of a frightful front three, that is, isn't it? With the experience, Lacazette up there as well. So it's a big battle in midfield. I think this is going to be a huge test for us, Arsenal. Bit of a test for Gerrard as well, tactically as well. There's a lot going on all over the pitch. Could end up as countering each other, attacking, goals in the game. So yeah, I'm really excited, and I think this is possibly the hardest one we've done, I think, to pick a predicted lineup.
Cool. So we'll start with the easy one, Martinez in goal, and then we'll start with another easy one for me. I feel like Ashley Young is going to be at left back. I think I don't see anyone else starting at left back. I just think Young's going to have his work cut out because the two wingers for Arsenal are in frightening form at the minute in Martinelli and Saka. I think they're playing really well. Martinelli, what a player he is at the minute. He's sensational. So I think those two are nailed on. Mings is going to start, isn't he? So we've got to go with Mings. What we're saying then, who's partnering Mings? Because you see at the minute, there's some fans now that are sort of wanting Konsa to come back into the side. So I personally think Chambers has got to keep his slot. What do you guys think?
He hasn't done anything wrong to not lose his spot, has he?
No.
Konsa, unfortunately, he hasn't lost his spot at poor form. He had COVID and Chambers stepped up and took his space. Chambers, he'll have a lot of Arsenal insight, won't he? You know, he's trained with these guys week in, week out for the last 10 odd years, whatever. So that plays in his favour a bit. It all depends for me whether Dougie Luiz is fit, because I think Chambers could possibly jump into that number 6 role. He's good on the ball, he's intelligent, he reads the game really well. And I think if Luiz is out, for me, that would be the more defensive choice against their 3 behind Lacazette. But if not, if Luiz is fit, then I do think Chambers might keep his spot.
Yeah. I do think Chambers will keep his slot. We saw against Southampton that Danny Ings was like a man possessed, weren't he? Playing against his old club. And I think Chambers has got a bit of a point to prove for the Arsenal fans because, you know, they've sold him and let's be honest, he hasn't put a foot wrong in a Villa shirt. So should we go Chambers then?
I think Chambers definitely will play. I agree. And I agree with Ryan. I think it depends whether Luiz is fit. I think if Luiz isn't fit, then I think he will then finally get that chance to play in that defensive midfield role. If he is fit, he'll play Luiz, obviously, and if he's not, then Chambers could step forward and just, you know, naturally bring Konsa back into the side. But yeah, I think we've got to err on the side that Luiz is going to be fit. I mean, it was a facial injury. He's had a week now, so it's not like a physical injury or like a knock or anything like that. So I can't see Luiz not playing. So I think, yeah, Chambers stays at centre half. You know, I haven't spoke to you since the West Ham game, and he didn't do enough. He didn't do anything wrong, really, did he? It was a very tight game, won by the odd goal. So, yeah, he's had no howlers, and he's had 2 or 3 magnificent games for us. So I think he deserves a little run in the team until he makes a mistake. And it's nice to have a player like Konsa ready to step in if and when that happens.
He praised Konsa so much in his pre-match conference before. Was it the Southampton game where he come down with COVID? So obviously he sees a big future for Konsa. So it's a big call this weekend. I think if he goes Konsa and Mings, and you sort of know that that's going to be his pairing now. Especially we've got some big games coming up as well, haven't we? Get some top sides.
Tough games, yeah.
You want that part of the pitch settled, don't you, for the rest of the season? So it's a big call.
And what I think about Gerrard's management at the minute, it sort of surprised me at how big he is on like man management and managing the players, and not only managing the players in sort of like a football term, like in football terms, it's off the field as well, and building relationships. Like this week, we've seen that the majority of the team's been at Cheltenham. Coutinho's at Cheltenham. Martinez, Buendia, so the South American boys, they're all really close. And I think he has spoke about building this relationship that they become friends. And I think with that becomes trust, doesn't there? And I think Gerrard's showing faith in players that earn the right to keep the shirt. And I can't imagine that Gerrard is just going to drop Callum Chambers and bring in Konsa just for no reason whatsoever. So I think... Yeah. Like we're saying, I think Chambers keeps his shirt as the central defender.
If you look back on the last 20 years of our Premier League history, it's probably Martin O'Neill's reign that's probably our most successful, isn't it? And he was a fantastic man manager. And he does pay. Unfortunately for O'Neill, he only loved the starting 11, didn't he? But Gerrard seems to be involved in the whole squad. And you feel like everybody's got a chance now in this squad. If you get that opportunity there's a chance for you to step up and grab that shirt. So it's very impressed as well.
Well, you've only got to look at, only recently that Courtney House has only just signed a new contract at Villa, and now he's relegated now to fourth choice centre half.
I'll tell you what though about House. How good did he look at Cheltenham? Mate,
he went for a strong. He went for a strong look, didn't he? Yeah. The old BA Brackus chains on. But yeah, it's a shame for him because he's he never rarely lets us down when he gets a chance there, but now he's comfortably our fourth choice centre half, isn't it? So Gerrard's man management has got to come to the fore because we're going to need this big squad going forward. We're going to need quality all over the pitch because you never know when you're going to need them.
Yeah. So right back, Matty Cash having a fantastic season. He's nailed on to be right back. So the midfield area, we have got the sort of Dougie Luiz. Is he fit? Is he not fit? I would pretty much say he's going to play. I mean, he played on with his busted lip, didn't he? And, it looks a bit sore, but he has only got stitches in his lip, so.
He was on the training videos as well.
Oh, was he?
So, yeah.
So I would say...
I don't think it's enough to keep him out, is it?
And I think if you asked him if he wants to play or just what he wants to see any...
Just look at what we're talking about now. He knows now if he decides he's going to think, I've got to sit out because I've got a bad lip, he probably won't get his place back. Nakamba's, almost back in the squad again soon as well. So he needs to keep the momentum going at six, especially with more than likely getting one in the summer. He's got to have a barnstorming into the season, I think, Louise, and I think he knows that.
Yeah. And, what I would say about this area of the pitch and the three in midfield on Saturday is that it's going to be another battle. We saw it was a battle against Declan Rice and Such and Partey and Xhaka. They're rock solid at the minute and they're bossing games. So if they do both play, obviously they played on Thursday, so are there going to be any changes? I would like to imagine that we're going to be right up for it in the midfield area. We're going to know what's coming and we're going to have to put in a real big performance. So this area is going to have to work together really, really well on Saturday. So, Ryan, we're going Louise. Do you want to pick the other two or do they just pick themselves?
I'm thinking they pick themselves. McGinn and Ramsey. All day long. It's like you say, though, this is a big part of the pitch. This is going to... You're up against them two that are solid, aren't you? So you could end up with an extra man there, though, because you've got McGinn and Ramsey, and then it's just finding that space for Coutinho. And we just need him to have another worldie again, don't we? We just need him.
So our little magician at number 10, obviously, Philippe Coutinho. Justin, you had some words because everyone knows what I think about him.
Yeah, he's been sensational, hasn't he? We just can't wait to get down and watch him play again, can we? I've been lucky enough to get to a couple of away games and he's just amazing. Every time I see him pick the ball up, you just wonder what's he going to do next. He just finds that bit of space. I said the other week, the only other player I can remember going back in my distant memory, as the young lad said the other night about me.
1874, I think.
Yeah, 1874, yeah. Gordon Cowans, he was very similar to the way he'd receive the ball. And even if he had 2 or 3 players on him, he'd received the ball, and all of a sudden he had 3 yards of space around him. You think, how's he done that? It's because he's a yard ahead in his head. I know that's an old cliche in footballing terms, but he knows what he knows the next 3 moves before he's received the ball. And that kind of quality, you can't teach people. It's just something you're born with, the natural ability. And to have a player like that playing for us, I should keep saying it. I don't care. He's on loan. I've fallen in love with him. And even if the worst happens and he doesn't sign a long-term deal, I think we're just blessed to have had him for 6 months, to be honest.
It's, the way he picks up the ball as well, there's nobody around him, is there? That's because he's that intelligent and he moves off people.
Yeah.
And he just creates all that space for himself. It's so, so good to watch.
But I think
it's no surprise that Arsenal and Tottenham and everyone's starting to get
they're all going to
now because clubs around Europe will be looking at his form and thinking, flipping out, Villa have got him right back up to speed.
But he's improving the players around him as well, isn't he? Like someone like Ramsey, a young English kid that's coming to the team. He had Jack for a couple of seasons to sort of bounce off, and now he's playing with a player of Coutinho's quality, and you can already see they're all getting a little bit quicker on the ball. They're all getting up to his pace now, which is the pace we've got to get to do anything in this league. You've got to get to that elite level, and we've got a player now that's at that elite level. So it's a matter for the others to watch him, see what he does, see how good he is, see what it takes to get to that level, and to try and raise their games to replicate it. And some of them might do. It's there's some really good players in our squad.
If only Chukwuemeka's listening to that, Justin. So the two up top, then we are going to go with Watkins and Danny Ings. Then it's important that they do the stuff off the ball and then make the runs when we do get the ball. It's going to be a difficult game, but I think if we take our chances and if we are bang up for it, then we are more than capable of getting a result in this game. If Coutinho's right up for it, if we can, hold our own in central midfield, are Arsenal going to be a little bit leggy? We don't know. But yeah, I'm quite happy with that team. Welcome to our Up the Villa podcast WhatsApp group, because you've just experienced what happens on a daily basis.
Day in, day out.
Voice notes 24/7. That is just our day in the life of what happens behind the scenes. But
I'll throw one more player in for you to talk about. And I don't think he's far away from maybe starting. And I think he could possibly start in the front two. He's Leon Bailey. I thought he had a really good cameo against West Ham. I thought he looked up for it. I thought he looked energised. He looked driven. He picked the ball up and tried to make things happen. But for a better connection from Buendia, he'd have put in a superb assist for a superb goal. And I think he's another one that's itching to try and prove these last few weeks of the season that he can really, make his mark at Villa. And I think in the front two, the way we play, I don't think he'd start on Saturday like I don't think he did last week, but I think he can come on and make a difference. I think that's where Liverpool did Arsenal the other day. They had Salah and Firmino come off the bench. So it could be that we could wear them down and players like him could come off the bench and Buendia and make a really big impression in the final third of the game.
Yeah, I really think so too. I thought he was
sorry. It's crazy. We've got Buendia's our record signing, isn't it? 30-odd mil. Yeah. Bailey, 30-odd mil. We're talking about these players coming off the bench against Arsenal to make a difference. It's crazy. And Traore as well. Traore's on the bench as well now, isn't he? Sanson. Oh, my God. Our squad's good, man. Our squad is good.
It is good. And we're in a decent place, aren't we, really? I looked back on our predictions where we thought we'd finish this season, and I think majority of, if not all of us, said we'd finish 8th. Now, we're currently 9th, and we were saying not 8th at best. So, considering the up and down sort of season we've had, we're not far off where we all thought we'd be this season, and we were saying that would be a good season building. So, I think we know what's to come in the summer, and I really think that once Gerrard gets a full pre-season with these players, this system is just it's gonna be really good, and I'm really, really excited about the future and where we're going, because I just think it's really exciting. Gerrard's first window, and we were able to bring in Coutinho. That level of player is just absolutely mental. It's absolutely mental. And, I know Newcastle are going to have money and they're going to be linked with everybody, but we just got to focus on what we're trying to do and attract the players that we think we can bring in. And I'm really excited. So that sort of concludes the predicted lineup. But Ryan, you want to add a special thank you to someone, don't you?
Yes, Scott Lapham has he messaged us on Facebook, and he's a web designer, and he said he could help us out with the website, and he's done a fantastic job. We've given the website a good old facelift. It's fresh. It's looking so good, and it does justice for all the people that are contributing to it, because there's some fantastic work going on in there, and none of them are getting paid and none of them are getting anything from it. They're just doing it for the love of Aston Villa. And if you can all jump on and pay it a visit. And after the games, we have the fan reports, we have the player ratings. which anybody can get involved with. Just drop any of us a message. If you want a couple of players on the game on Saturday, then just drop us a message and you can have your say on their performance, and you can rate them 1 to 10. So it's going really well, and we have got plans for it to make it a lot more interactive as well, like this predicted lineup show now. So hopefully, maybe before the end of the season, definitely at the start of the season, you'll be able to watch this show, then head over to the website, pump your team into the predicted lineup and share it on the social media. So that, and hopefully we'll get the player ratings as well, where you can go on and rate the players, and we can get a global view of how the players have performed on that game. So it's exciting times, and it's good that these two podcasts and the website are running parallel together. So really good.
You know, I don't really want to blow our own trumpet here a little bit, but you know, we are not just a podcast. We are not just a YouTube channel. We do a lot of work behind the scenes, and some people might not be aware that we've even got a website, but all of the content that we create is purely from Aston Villa football fans. This podcast is Aston Villa football fans. It's purely fan content, and everybody does it in their own time and for the love of Aston Villa, but even for their careers a little bit as well. You know, all these writers that we've got on your website, Ryan, they're studying journalism. They might have already studied it, and they're going and doing it for a profession. So if anybody seriously wants to get involved on the website or on the podcast or whatever they want to do, then we are more than happy to have anyone involved. And, you know, we started this podcast up about 1.5 years ago, and the growth of what it's got to and what it's become now, you know, more than just a podcast that we do our thoughts on. We offer sort of like the articles and stuff. It's just mental how much it's grown. But you know, if you do normally just watch and listen to us, go and check the website out. I'll put the link in the description. So all you've got to do is just click on the description, and you can see what we do. And, you know, if you go to Sky Sports and you check your match reports or whatever, just click on ours as well, because we do exactly the same thing that's written by Villa fans as well. So it's brilliant to be involved in. And you know, like Ryan said, we're growing. Like, we've got aspirations to be bigger and better than this. You know, I'm a pretty ambitious person, and I want us to be the best that we can be. So, you know, we've got more interaction coming probably to the start of next season, and we're just going to keep growing and keep pushing the channel as much as we can and try and be the best we can be. Justin, how do you find being on the podcast, Justin?
It's fantastic, isn't it? I can't believe where it started and where it is now. You know, I've done a little bit of writing on the web, not as much as I'd like to, but it's the people that write. You don't realise how hard it is to sit down and write stuff and to get it. You know, it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort to sit and write detailed pieces, researching, putting it down, and they deserve to have these articles read and looked at. Honestly, they do. There's no clickbait, there's no adverts. You can't, you know, I read a few articles on, I won't mention the websites, but there's literally about 3 paragraphs of actual writing, and then the rest of it is just adverts, and there's none of that on here. It's just fan opinion written from a fan's perspective that goes and watches the games, and it's a great place to be and be involved with. The people I've met, the people I've spoke to about it, the interactions you get on Twitter and on all the different social media platforms, the people I talk to at the games, the things that it's allowed us to do and see and enjoy. It's great. Ultimately, football is for the fans, isn't it? And over the years, with the Sky and the money that's been pumped into football, that's gone away a little bit. And this is just a little bit of the old-fashioned fan, you know, engagement, and long may it continue. You know, fans, football's nothing without the fans, and that's what makes our club so great. Our fan base is fantastic, and this podcast just makes me proud every single day and week. You know, the interaction the friendship I've got with these guys on the screen now has come from this, and we talk every single day about Villa and about life as well. I think we've all been through ups and downs over the last few years, especially with COVID and work things, and we try and support each other. Like I hope that the community we're trying to build tries to support each other as well, and that's what it's all about. It's just having a good time and enjoying our lives, and I love doing it, and long may it continue.
Oh, the podcast. So we're on a level.
We go marching on, right? Yeah. We'll end it there, and we'll be back after we've got 3 points against Arsenal. So up the Villa, and speak to you soon.
Up the Villa.